This time on Adventures with Sean and Autumn, we are on the Minister Creek Trail in this beautiful fall weekend. We'll see if it turns into winter survival training. This is not the hike we had planned, but it's the hike we have. Approaching this weekend, we kept hearing about a polar vortex, which means cold temperatures. Initially, we were going to use the end of November to go to Dolly Sods. That was not going to be just a one-night thing, though, so we had to pivot. We were supposed to hike in on Thursday. Thursday had 40-mile-per-hour gusts. So we did have a bed and breakfast planned for initially when we hiked out. So we ended up going there first, and now Saturday we're hiking in. Just passed a group of hikers who came in probably about half a mile, and they're spending the night. So that's exciting that we're not the only crazy people out here this weekend. We got a little bit later start than we anticipated. We got to the trailhead and we're checking the trail conditions and happened upon a hunter named Landis out of Vermont. So he had shot a buck this morning and was he finally caught up to it. He was in and out of the creek, so he was soaked. Poor guy. So we were able to get him to his truck, which was about 6 miles away, and get him a good start on getting back to his deer and getting it drug out. He has some friends that are be able to give him a hand, so good for him. Knock that deer down and be able to get it. So wishing him all the best, and we scored some maple syrup right from Vermont. So thanks, Landis. Happy to help out. So Autumn had to go off-roading because nature called, and now she's about 3 inches taller. Dropping layers, moving on. How's your hot chocolate?
It's very hot and good.
So it looks like somebody was doing some bushcraft out here. So we've not had a lot of video shot setting up camp because camping in the winter is more work. But we had time. Autumn did a really good job gathering firewood while I was setting up the hammocks. We had a good initial, like every time you build a fire in the winter, you get this initial, everything's burning great, and then it crashes and you got to be ready to restock. So a lot of love has gone into that fire because everything's covered in snow and frozen, but it's enough to give us some heat. We are just turned 7 o'clock, so getting ready for dessert, which is creme brulee.
Yeah.
And hot chocolate. Couple equipment changes. Typically we don't talk about equipment. I was able to lighten Autumn's pack by 3 pounds. I got her a ULA ohm, and so far, first trip, what'd you think?
The pack felt lighter, significantly lighter. I noticed that right away.
Nice. First time breaking out the Whisper Light MSR stove, which is great. Lots of heat. I think that 20-ounce canister will burn, I think, 1 hour and 50 minutes continuous. So we should have plenty to get through not only what we've done tonight. Well, I had to do something a little different. We were going to just straight boil our water out of the creek that we're camped next to. I ended up warming it and putting it in the Canuck bag and then pushing it through the Sawyer squeeze. Oh, and speaking of that, I'm not with child, but everything that needs to stay warm is close. So that's the water filter, battery bank, and some other incidentals. But we've had hardly, I don't know, maybe a 3-mile-per-hour little breeze every once in a while. It's been really calm. Now we know that that's going to change after midnight. They're saying 15 to 20, gusts up to 30. So we've got the hammocks pitched low. I'm going to regret not having a winter tarp. So I've just got the hex, which doesn't give me a ton of coverage, but autumn will be nice and covered.
And there's a significant difference in the temperature under the tarp, in the hammock,
Oh, yeah.
just sitting in it. And so I know once I get under that sleeping bag that's acting like a quilt, I'll be nice and toasty.
Yep.
I was just thinking about that earlier while I was gathering wood, how nice it will be to
Oh, yeah.
sleep in there tonight.
Yep. But everything's going well. I think we were 27 degrees, which was going to be about where it stayed. I forgot my little thermodrop thermometer, so I can't give an accurate. But last we checked before we came in, they were calling for low of 24 tonight. So really not a big temperature change from day to night, other than the wind kicking up.
Yeah, I remember 29, but I don't remember the
That's what we had in the
low.
car on the highest on the drive
Yeah.
over from Kane. Speaking of that, I mentioned that we got our nights flipped around from the bed and breakfast. So we stayed at Kane Manor Inn, which is managed now by
Ben and Deborah.
Ben and Deborah Miller. So really nice couple. They've done a ton of work. There's a lot of history in there around the Kane family. If you like B&Bs, as well as a little bit of history. That home was built in 1897, and Ben and Deb have been updating quite a bit, so they're hard at work. Still, they've got work going on around. Everything's clean, you don't see it, but there's some areas that they're still bringing back up from where it was. So if you enjoy that, pretty cool, and it puts you right in the center of so many trails in Pennsylvania. If you kind of want to blend in a B&B with getting to day hike or use that as a jumping off. Would have been really nice to camp and then have the night there, but oh well, we're just glad to be out. Again, this wasn't the trip or the hike we wanted, but it's the hike we got, and it's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Good coffee and good morning. We survived the night. After midnight, the breeze did kick up. A little bit of snow on the tarp. But we were pretty protected. There's a valley, there's a ridge behind us, so we think that probably kept some of the wind up higher. Didn't get us. So I've got my oatmeal. The only problem is Lavazza has stopped making instant. So we're almost done with this last tin, and that means we'll have to go to something like one of the other instants. I've done the Starbucks before, but it's just okay. The Lavazza that's top notch if you're going to do instant. but stayed pretty warm through the night. In fact, I had to vent my sleeping bag a couple times. It was pretty toasty. Took me about 2 hours to get my feet warm, which is happening at home as well a little bit in the evenings. So might just be a 50+ thing. Nice morning. Already heard 2 or 3 gunshots for rifle season. So we'll get Autumn's breakfast next once she stirs. Get packed up and get on the road. If anyone wants to know why we carry a full-size titanium shovel instead of one of those little deuce scoops, it's because when we hike in Pennsylvania, everywhere we dig is rocks or roots. And I'm not playing with that little shovel. And we're out of here. Expertly done.
The help of the trekking poles. That's why I like them. Just about got this trail kicked. How are we rating it? Was this pre-winter fun or was this winter survival? It was a little of both, but it was you that was doing most of the work, so it was pre-winter fun.
Excellent. What's worse than doing that once? Coming down to get the camera to do it again.